And that is something, and they say you always look for what you didn't have before. In my prior marriage, my at the time wife was always basically saying, "Why are you going to the gym? You're already strong enough," and not understanding that this is a lifelong
Let's do
journey of,
this. Let's do
yeah.
this. So, Jaron, Moff, there's a few people in the comments, Ryan, that are offering some opinions. I think this is a great topic. If you guys want to click through on the StreamYard link and hop in, let's kind of chop up some of these things, because there's a few things that are coming up, like Jaron saying he's completely bought into her frame, so she has the upper hand in the relationship.
Oh, and that is a key point right there from your book that I'm actually surprised that neither of us brought up to this point, was being in her frame versus being in my frame. That's
You
something
are,
you
yeah.
talk
Yeah.
you talk a lot about. And I don't like that. I hesitate to use the term alpha male. I've had friends in my close circle refer to me as such. I don't like to refer to myself as such. No man who is the king has to say that he is the king, type
Correct.
thing.
Yeah.
Right. But I find myself for the first time in my life adjusting to her frame, and I know that's something you vehemently oppose.
Yeah, you
And
don't
I
want to
don't
do
think,
that.
unjustifiably so. And I find myself, the reason why I don't like to brag. The reason why I was as successful as I was in Afghanistan about predicting the future is because, and it's the same thing I do now working in finance and working in the stock market, is I make scenarios and I account for any, and like, no surprise is a good surprise. I hate surprises. There are no surprises. And so this is the first time where all of my scenarios find me adjusting to a female's frame. And this is also the first time when I'm seeing someone who makes more money than me. Usually I make multiples of what the female I'm seeing makes. And in this particular instance, female makes multiples of what I make. Jaron, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
So
Can y'all
that's
see everything?
Jaron. He's Men Shrine in the live chat. He'll also be on with Moff later on,
Yep.
doing his stereo show. We got Ryan in the house, which is a certified hypnotherapist. Also a good dude.
Oh, you're gonna
He's
get
also
it.
he's also been in the chat offering some opinions and views, which I think you should hear. I think this is a really good conversation, and there's times where I have call-ins where it's like, okay, I need to move on to the next one. This isn't a great conversation. This is one that I think that deserves a little bit more attention. So I have no problem spending some more time on tonight's show too.
Yeah, I think the first thing that I noticed, and guys in the chat can chime in too, but it seems like you're almost too confident with her, which that was kind of the red flag that got me going. Like, all right, anything that Rich asked you, you had an answer for it. Like, oh, no, but not this one, not this one. And we've seen a lot of callers that come into these shows and they do exactly that. And sometimes it's really hard to step outside of yourself and then take a look at yourself from an objective point of view, because I'm like you, I'm really analytical too. In my work, like I'm always on the ball. But in my own relationships, looking back at the past, sometimes you're like, all right, well, you know what? I had a hand to play in that screw up. And looking at yourself, at least things that I've seen in me, is like when I'm so sure of something in a relationship, usually it's kind of like, all right, I'm sure you have plenty of experience in with the military background and whatnot, but it seems like that you're so happy and so confident and so self-assured in this relationship that you're looking past things that might be leading indicators of things to come. For example, you mentioned that she does make more money than you. She has alluded to the fact that she'd like you to start your own business, aka, as Moff said, make more money. That she's fitter than you, and the way you talk about her indicates to me that you're in the frame that she has the upper hand on you, that she's perceived as higher value than you. And it doesn't matter if it's true or not. If she thinks that in her head, then I see this starting to unravel at some point. And that's just my 2 cents.
So here's Ryan's comment. He said, if she's hotter at 46 than most of his other girls he's been with, he's got to work on his own self-worth, value, so he can feel deserving of hotter, younger women.
And that's
possible.
That's one thing that I've seen with a lot of military guys is they're going in the military and they end up with whoever happens to take them rather than women who are actually good for them. And I did this myself, married a woman in the Air Force. First woman that was like actually dealt with me, right?
Well, there was your first mistake, Chair Force.
Exactly, Chairborne Ranger. But anyways,
right.
Point being that I see this over and over and over again with guys in the military is that they don't actually have a whole lot of self-worth when it comes to what they feel they deserve.
So that was definitely true 10 years ago.
And it's true. And the thing is that I'm seeing the same pattern because you should be able to. You're a good looking guy. You're 36 years old. You've got all the stability indicators that every woman is looking for. You do, right? And you're playing around with a woman who's 10 years older than you, who's playing mommy. That's not really. She's making more money. She's running things. You're in her frame. So kind of is in a lot of ways.
The frame thing is the biggest problem that you've got with this entire relationship, in my view.
But the bigger thing, correct, Rich. That is correct. Or rather, I'm sorry, Hypnosis for Men. Please continue your thought. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize.
No. You're quite fine. You're quite fine. So here's the deal. Like, if you actually felt that you could get good quality women who you were aging younger, who were a good mother and everything else, you wouldn't be on the show asking Rich if it was okay to date a woman who's 10 years older than you and you were in a frame and making more money.
So, I guess that's a fair point. My thoughts have been more: are there exceptions to the rule?
Of course there are.
Yeah. Well, you want this to be an exception so that you feel more comfortable about it, because your intuition right now is warning you, going, "Yo, Zach, you sure you want to do this? Is this going to go the right way?"
Well, and into that,
let's call this guy this bald bearded man with a wicked ass beard on YouTube and say, "Hey, do you think this is a good idea, Rich? Let's ask his opinion." Oh wait, now there's 3 other guys on with him. Let's see what they have to say, sort of thing, right? Moff.
The thing that I wanted to ask, or the thing that I keep coming back to, is the first thing you said at the beginning, where she goes, "You're pulling over 200K. Like, that's not exactly slouching around." And she's doing multiples of that. And so her question of, well, why don't you start your own business, is not, it's when are you going to start making some more money? It's when are you going to get on my level? It's when are you going to get to a place where I look at you as my provider and my financial best? And so, we seem to be getting away from that a little bit.
No, and I'm so glad that you brought that up, because this is something that I dialed in to very quickly after she first mentioned that. I didn't say anything about it in the moment. As a rule, I try not to say anything in the heat of the moment. I'll go back, I'll think about it for a day or two. If it's still bothering me, then I'll say something about it. And so this is, in short, how the conversation has evolved over the last several months, which was, I brought this to her attention, essentially, anyone who knows me is not going to shy away from the fact that I don't exactly have a low opinion of myself. And it seemed odd to me that she didn't seem to have a high opinion of me. And we can only go with how people explain themselves, which was that it wasn't that at all. It wasn't that I needed to be the breadwinner in the relationship. It was, no, I've started multiple businesses over the last 2 decades. Like, what, your industry, why aren't you making more money for yourself? You're working as a consultant.
Yeah, but all the question is rooted in words is just a big word salad for, I need you to make as much money.
I need you to be better. I need you to do better. Like, I need a man that's better than me.
But more than that, the whole, like, all we can do is judge him by the words. That's 100% bullshit. You know better than that, especially if you're working in Intel. You don't fucking pay attention to what they say. You can't. You fundamentally can't, and you know that, right? But they're right. They're saying, hey, she is telling you that she is wondering why you're not better than you are. Those are the words that are coming out of her mouth.
She wants you to be better.
Yeah.
She loves the D, Zach. Like, that's why she's with you. I mean, you're obviously doing something right in the bedroom, but she's also telling you in another breath, when you're not in the bedroom, hey, it would be really cool if you started a business and made as much money as I did, so I can look at you instead of down towards you.
And it's not her fault, right? Yeah. That reaction that you're having of like, oh, like this is that I was, I'm not saying you were hurt, but like, oh, like I didn't want to say anything. Clearly you got a reaction out of you. You didn't like that she brought that up. That stirred something in you that you were frustrated about. But again, like this is women in a nutshell, man. Like, this is something that we have to come to expect.
So, oh, go ahead. Please, Hypnosis for Men. Please go.
2 things. Number one, the fact that you had to bring it to her attention is kind of like a, hey, boss, just wanted to let you know. Just saying, right? And number two, there was a guy by the name of Ian Ironwood, who was one of the very early Manosphere writers, and he was a situation where his wife was the breadwinner in the family, right? Now, they deliberately did things to put him in headship of the relationships, and she deliberately did things to make him the head of the household. This woman doesn't seem like she's doing that to you.
If you want to test that theory, have you guys talked about where do we stand? Are we going to live together? Has any of that come up?
Oh, it absolutely has. And
who was it that brought it up? You or her?
No, me.
Okay, you brought it up. You're in her frame. Okay, so carry on.
I have plans for the future of our relationship that I don't feel like broadcasting on YouTube.
Okay.
Uh,
You've got plans, but does
Is
she
it
have plans?
and is it the
she
financial aspect? Is she kind of like a sugar mama type situation? Because I'm down in Latin
no.
America, and I've talked to guys in the group. I've dated older women. They give me like access to cars or like nice beach properties and stuff, but it's like it's not going anywhere. We both know that. It's not one of
So
those situations. She's just throwing money at you, and you're
No,
like,
no,
oh,
no,
hey,
no,
why
no,
no, no.
not?
This is a
quite
relationship, Drew. Yeah.
quite
Okay,
quite
crazy. Yeah.
quite the converse. In fact, and what I'm about to say may draw some ire, but it is what it is. Um, we both opened up a few months ago with each other after we'd been seeing each other for a little while, for a few
Mhm.
months. We opened up with each other about our past because I think context is important. And she had shared that basically she had felt like she'd been taken advantage of in past relationships to the degree that you gentlemen are referring to. And so something that I said to her is that hypothetically, looking down the road, if you and I ever got married and I brought this up, I said, listen, I have my own money, you have your own money. You have more than I do. I would volunteer to sign a prenup because I want you to know I don't want or need what you have. I'm interested in you as a person.
So a lot of the stuff that you're talking about here, Zach, like this is not the relationship of an unplugged man running the frame of the relationship, making himself his mental point of origin. This is a guy that's none of those things.
Can I make it a little bit more brutal for you to make it a
Yeah,
little
go
bit
ahead,
easier?
Ryan. Yeah.
Please do.
She's the husband looking for a wife, and you're a perfect wife right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, hang on a
I
second. Dude.
That's the title of the clip.
That's let's
I,
go.
call me. I
Taking out
mean,
the J. Velcro. Clip that shit.
I mean, call me confident enough in my own masculinity that I'm like,
Look, if
okay.
that's the role you want to play in the relationship, fine, and you're welcome to own that. Like, there's nothing. Nobody says you can't do that, right? You're a grown ass man. You can do whatever you want to,
This is
right?
some
But
advanced
if
shit,
you're
Zach. This is
But
not,
if
this is not
this
for
is
the
definitely not the
masses.
bunny slopes. This is
Yeah.
definitely on bunny slopes here, right? If you're going to
This
play
is the
that
double
game,
black diamonds in Colorado.
right? But if that's the way you want to go down things, then you can, right? Just understand that you have a very hard road to run, and you're going to have
So
to get her to buy into the idea that you are the wife in the relationship rather than the husband, because most women, especially accomplished women who are her age and older, they want a husband. They want a man to lead. So you're going
so
to have to figure out how to do that without having the power in the relationship, without having the money in the relationship.
so
Good
to
luck.
without going too much into oversharing, one of the things that we'll just say one of the things that makes our dynamic interesting is that in terms of who takes control in the in various scenarios, I basically always take point.
Talking about
We'll
in the
just put it
bedroom.
that way, amongst other things.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty
Um,
common though, right? Like we know, like one of the things you'll always find is that career women love to be dominated in the bedroom. Like one of the things that you like pantsuit women, 40-year-old women, I mean, marching around all day, barking orders for 30 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever, they get to put that aside. And yeah, that's not a secret. But I mean, yeah, I see what you mean. But I mean, I think it's a lot more common than I
We're
it's
think.
a
not
little bit more than that.
we're not trying to pop the bubble here, Zach. We're just trying to make sure that you march into this with your eyes wide open.
No,
'Cause, I mean,
we're
that's
doing
what you're
course of
asking
action
for, right?
analysis.
Like
Right,
that's why
right.
you called in tonight.
Right. We're doing MDMP, military decision making process. We're doing COA Dev, course of action development, course of action analysis. We're doing wargaming. And so
Not really, but okay.
what's that?
Not really, but okay.
Ryan's ex-military, so you can't goose him.
Well, let's just say I'm always looking for people to play the opposing force to present to me a strong counter argument for why I should not pursue the course of action I'm strongly considering pursuing.
Well, I mean, you're
In
going
that
to pursue it
case,
anyway. You're just asking for the
That's not
opinions of
true.
others.
I think
so
in this
here's
case, you need to
here's the
present
deal.
the strong argument as to why you should pursue this,
Well,
knowing there's other
let's
options.
leave that
available.
aside. Let's leave that aside for just a moment. If you want the strong argument why you shouldn't pursue this, number one, you're walking into a situation where you are going to be submissive to her in the relationship. Until and unless you figure out some way to get headship in the relationship, even though she has more money, and she accepts that frame, you are SOL.
Which is highly
Fundamentally.
unlikely.
Yeah, which means that the life of the relationship is limited, to say the least. and you're investing all kinds
I'd
of
agree
time
with
and
that.
energy in a woman who is fundamentally not going to be able to partner with you in the way that you want to partner. She's not going to be a wife for you. She's not going to be a mother to your kids.
He wants to go check it out on his own, though. I
And
mean,
if that's, and hey,
you know,
knock
Zach's
yourself out,
like,
right?
you know,
I'm
he's
just
already
saying
got
you,
plans for everything. He's talking about prenups. You know, he's
and
opened
that's
up the
fine. That's fine.
conversation.
Like if that's the road you want to go down, you want to try this out. Cool. Like knock yourself out. You're a grown ass man. Do your thing, right? Just understand that you're not actually going to get out of this what you think you're going to.
Hey guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that short clip. If you did, consider supporting the creation of content by checking out my supplement line. Pinned in the top comment below of this video in the comments, there's a link to the unpluggedalpha.com/shop. When you click through, you'll be able to land over here, and the entire lineup is broken down by category that it performs best in: estrogen metabolism, fat burning, your foundational essentials for health, immune health, performance, and testosterone support. If you check out with coupon code ALPHA10, you'll get 10% off on your first order. There's also the option to use the subscribe and save model, where regular shipments will be sent over to you on a regular basis, and that gives you a little bit of a discount, and your supplement facts are always broken down over here. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome day. And again, check out that link. It's pinned in the top comment below in this video. Peace out.